All right. Today we get to study for the sake of heaven and the sake of Israel and all Jerusalem. We'd like to give the merit and the merit of our study and the merit of our Torah to Stephen King, Avraham ben Moshe Gilla, Ed Stribling, Linda Flora, Carl Lucerio, Cody Lovejoy, Raymond Rosentrader, Brooke Gibson, Paul Navarez, Garrett Matledge, Patients of Texas Oncology, Rita Wilson, H.L. and Betty Munkuski, Yeshaya Peak, Berea Onestaff, Elise Hagar, Nadine Freeman, Logan Willis, Billy Holt, Charles David, Rosa Hollander, Christopher Bederka, Noel Cardoza, David Douglas, Vicki McLean, Tom and Karen Maitland, Sandra Hayes, Carol's here today, Larry Langberg, Juliet Navarro, Blake Highland, Leila Briscoe, Sam Peak, Yehuda Ben Matai James London, David Jenkins, Jake Suarez, Bobby Williams Sr., George Brock, the Rogers family, Carol Gibson, Damian Washington, Carol Scott, Ty Harrington, Maurice Greenwood, Gracie Bell Linder, Vicki McLean, Malcolm Wilham, Amanda Elliott, Frank Pollard, Carol's family, Baby Denard, Kimberly Brown, Debbie January, who's doing well, I hear, which is a miracle.
That is.
Kim Lively, Crespin Rodriguez, Sandra Hirth, Virgil Williams, Brad Mace, Gustavo De Leon, Jerry Matledge, Dylan Tickle, Amber Merchant, Simcha Ben Abraham, daughter of Jeremy Adams, Alexander, son of Jamie Justice. Prayer of the Ari. Ruler of the universe and master of all masters, Father of mercy and forgiveness, we thank you, our God and the God of our fathers, by bowing down and kneeling, that you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, that you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such a big favor. That is the reason we plead before you, that you will forgive and acquit all of our sins, that they should not bring separation between you and us. May it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you would awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you, and may you listen to our utterances and open our closed heart to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may our study be pleasant before your place of honor as aroma of sweet incense, and may you emanate to us light from the source of our soul to all of our being. And may the sparks of your holy servants, through which you revealed your wisdom to the world, shine. May their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study. And by their merit enlighten our eyes in our learning, as stated by King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so I see wonders from your Torah, because from his mouth God gives wisdom and understanding. May the utterance of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Just a little reminder, we're about a month from our deadline, right, Russell, on getting in
For the conference?
For the conference?
Yeah, we're going to make the deadline July 18th.
July 18th, okay.
Just
All right, which is right around the corner, a month away. So if you're coming, please come. We want to see everybody. We'll start Purim early because it's a perpetual feast in the world to come. So we'll practice. We'll make sure we're ready.
Yes, we'll do so.
You know.
Yeah.
And so
I had someone call our group today. The Torah. The Torah, the Texas, no, it wasn't, they didn't put Gare, it was the Texas Beer Torah Club. That's not what it was.
they're close. It's more like the rum and coke club.
Yeah, that's rum and coke.
All right, today we're going to continue with Song of Songs, and I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to give a little overview. We're also going to hit some Zohar today. We're going to hit some Chumash today, and I'm kind of going to try to put it all together the best way I can. But what I want to do is, since we are studying Solomon, I really wanted to go through some of the stuff on Solomon here, and so we can have a better familiarity about what kind of a person he really was, what he really was, because some of the things we just think he was this really wise Torah guy, but we have no idea how elevated he really was. So I'm gonna some of this stuff is all out of the Agatatid and stuff like that. So we'll start right here. It's in Song of Songs 3:11. It says, "With the crown that his mother crowned him." Rabbi Yitzhak discussed, "We have reviewed all the scriptures, and we did not find that Bathsheba crowned him fashioned a crown for her son Solomon. Rather, the crown refers to the tabernacle, which was decorated and embroidered, serving as a sign of honor for the Holy One, blessed be He." Ecclesiastes 4:1, he states, "I returned and contemplated." From where did Solomon return? Solomon would rise early in the morning and look into all the parts of the world and obtain understanding. At this time a great eagle came on pillars of fire and a cloud and bowed down before Solomon. Solomon put on his belt and took his ring, on which the holy names was engraved, and mounted the eagle. He flew 400 parsongs and arrived at Tadmor in the wilderness, in the hills of darkness. There he alighted and learned all the secular realms of wisdom and that he wished to know. And when he was finished, he mounted the eagle and returned to his home. At that time, he wrote, "I returned and contemplated." Because when you read Ecclesiastes, it just says, "I returned and contemplated." What? So, kind of get down to the nitty-gritty of it. The Holy One, blessed be He, made him king over all the beasts on the earth, birds in the sky, crawling things on the grounds, and demons and spirits. Those are the 5 things. Same. What was Noah over? He said, bring all the creepy things, all the birds, all the animals, all the things with wings, all these different things. Same story. Same scenario. What's he talking about? He is over Asiya, Yetzirah, and Berea. Right here. He's over Asiya, Yetzirah, and Berea. He's over the Orphim, the Chayot, and the Seraphim. So anytime Solomon wanted anything, he could command the angels. And they would respond. All right? And all of the animals. He could literally talk to every animal. He knew all their languages. Solomon and... we won't read that one. The Torah was like a basket without handles until Solomon came and made handles for it. Because handles makes it easier to carry an object. Solomon instituted ordinances to help people avoid transgressions. Thus he made the Torah easier to carry. Until Solomon arose, people could not understand the words of the Torah. But when Solomon arose and exerted effort to make the Torah comprehensible to all, everyone understood the Torah. Through his parables, Solomon fathomed the secrets of the Torah. Solomon, when he was getting ready to build his temple, he sent word to Pharaoh Necho, "Send me craftsmen, for I wish to build the temple." Pharaoh Necho gathered his astrologers and told them, "Divine men are destined to die this year, and I will send them to him, so he could later accuse Solomon of killing them." When they came to Solomon, Solomon foresaw that they were destined to die that year. He gave them shrouds and sent them back with a letter saying, "Did you not have any shrouds to bury your dead? So here they are with some shrouds." Everyone assisted him in the construction of the temple, all spirits, demons, and ministering angels. Why did he need demons? It is written, "And the house, when it was being built, was built of stone made ready at the quarry. Neither hammer nor axe nor tool of iron was heard in the house while it was being built." 1 Kings 6:7. Solomon asked the sages, "How will I hew the stones?" They replied, "There is a shamir, a creature that cuts through stone, which Moses brought to cut the stones of the ephod." "Where is it?" he asked. Upon being told that, Ashmediah, king of the demons, knew the answer. So Solomon sent Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, with a chain on which the divine name was engraved. He went out and captured Ashmediah and brought him before Solomon. Ashmediah took a cane, measured 4 cubits, and said, "When you die, you will have nothing in this world but a grave of 4 cubits. Now you have conquered the world, but you were not satisfied until you captured me as well. I want nothing of you," said Solomon. "I wish to build the temple, and I need the shamar." Ashmediah indicated how it could be procured, and Solomon procured it. He detained Ashmediah until the temple was complete. When Solomon brought the ark into the temple, all the trees and cedars that were there thrived and bore fruit, which provided ample livelihood for all of the priests. And here's what I wanted to get to, because here, every iteration has to iterate to the last iteration. And over the course of our study, through learning some formulas, we have figured out what the other side has stolen. We know that at the destruction of the first temple, the hay was stolen. At the destruction of the second temple, the vav was stolen. The vav of Yud-Hey-Vav-Hey is the aspect of Zeranpin. It's the aspect of Metatron. It's where all the power comes from. That was taken into Rome. Edom. That is why the church has so much money and power. And so when we went to Israel, we took the vav back. And then consequently, when we were in Chicago, we took the crown back. But here is, which is the hay, but here is something that I want to go into today and discuss that must return. Zerah the Cushite waged war against Pharaoh Necho and took Solomon's throne from him. Let me back up. When Solomon died, Shishak, the king of Egypt, came and took away the throne that he sat on. Shishak is Pharaoh whose daughter Solomon married. And he said, "I am taking it as my daughter's marriage settlement." Pharaoh Necho literally means crippled. Sought to sit on Solomon's throne. But he was not familiar with the workings. A lion struck him and maimed him. Zerah the Cushite waged war against Pharaoh Necho and took Solomon's throne from him. Asa waged war against Zerah the Cushite and took it from him. Asa and all the kings of Judah sat upon it. Then Nebuchadnezzar, who is King Nimrod, right, exiled it to Babylon. From Babylon it was taken to Media. From Media it was taken to Greece. And from Greece it was taken to Edom, or Rome. Rabbi Elazar says, who is one of the sages that's written about extensively in the Zohar, said, "I saw its remains in Rome." So if you're going to have a temple, you have to have a king, and there has to be a throne. You see?
And the crown.
And the crown. Yeah, the crown for the kingdom. So not only do we have to build the place, make the place, we have to return the crown, and then we have, which is the kingdom, the kingship, but the kingdom has to be established by those sitting on the throne, as Ezekiel's vision says, "And I saw a man with the appearance of Jacob sitting on a throne." So this throne is something that I'm starting to kind of study and try to figure out how we can. It was built, so it existed. It was taken, so it was stolen, which means it has to return so it can exist.
It's probably underneath the Vatican.
Nice. But the secret of the matter is what does it represent? Now, little Zohar here. If we're going to, you don't get out of this world unless you have an ark. Be it a coffin or be it an ark. So, we have to build an ark. And I've taught this before. You're building your own ark. In other words, your Torah Taurus, your hermetically sealed Taurus is building your own personal ark. But we have to build an ark collectively. What is an ark? The ark is always the Nukva. The ark is always Malchut. The ark is the kingdom. Now, the throne. The throne has 4 legs. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David. All right? So, if we're trying to get Messiah ben David, the way you get Messiah ben David is you have to repair the kingdom. You have to build an ark. That is the kingdom. All right? So, whatever's happening in Ak, in Adam Kadmon, that's the only thing happening. Everything else is just an iteration. So Adam Kadmon built an ark, and his ark is called Berudim. Berudim in Texas, right?
Berudim.
It's called Berudim. Adam built an ark, and it was called Noah's Ark. That's the world of Atzilut. Moshe was put in an ark in Egypt, put on the Nile River. Berea. Moshe built an ark for those who were in Asiya, the Ark of the Covenant, in Yitzhak. He built one there for Asiya, because Asiya is like the Malchut, has nothing of its own. So, because the ark is a powerful object, you can't build that here, because it's not from here. The ark is not of this earth. Now, the ark is the Malchut. The Malchut is the bottom level, which is the lip, the bottom lip, which is Sandalphon. Okay? So keep Sandalphon, the aspect of the bottom of Metatron, in it. Now we know that the Ger are the Keruvim that sit on the ark. So the Ger are trying to find a place to rest, but we have to build an ark, but not from here. So how do you build something here, not from here? For a place to rest, to re-establish the kingdom, the bottom 70. Bathsheba, the daughter of the 7, which was the temple, which was the crown that Solomon was crowned with. See, there's the throne, the crown, the kingdom, it's all there. So for us to help, we have to do that. We have to do our part. So how do we do our part? We've been saying it, but and until you have all the pieces, it never really kind of comes together. All right. So I'm going to read something here out of the Zohar. It says, the Zohar says, "Be wise with understanding." This is Daniel 12:10. "These are the scholars of Kabbalah. It says about them, and they who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmaments." This refers to those who place their efforts in the splendor called the Zohar. The Zohar is like Noah's Ark, to which are gathered 2 from a city, 7 from a kingdom, and occasionally 1 from a city and 2 from a family, by whom comes true the verse that says in Shemot 1:22, every son that is born you shall cast into the river. Now, over the course of our study in our class, this class is based off the Zohar, off the Ari. Who gave the Zohar? Which prophet gave the Zohar?
I thought it was Ezekiel.
No, but close. Which prophet?
Elijah.
Elijah the prophet.
Elijah, I got their names mixed up.
Well, that was a good try.
He's
It's a good try, good try, good try. Elijah the prophet. What do we know about Elijah the prophet?
He's Sandalphon.
Oh, he's Sandalphon. He's Metatron. He's not from here. So where's the Zohar from? Not from here. Not from here. So if you use the Zohar and the Oral Torah, which is called Noah's Ark, why is it called Noah's Ark? Because Noah sent out a raven and a dove. The raven is the klipa, the dove is the holy. Correct? The raven did not do its work. It did not accomplish its work. But the dove did accomplish its work. The dove returned to the ark with the whole olive thing. Who is the dove in Torah? Moshe Rabbeinu. The call of the turtle dove is heard in the land. The call is the Oral Torah, the Zohar. The turtle dove is referred to as Moses. What happened? Moses hits the right rock twice. He begs God not to conceal the Torah. Which part did he conceal? The oral. The whole entire splendor of the Oral Torah, which was brought down by none other than Elijah the prophet. So the Zohar that was given by the mouth of Elijah of Sandalphon, Metatron, the bottom lip of Metatron, is likened to the dove. When you study it, it's likened to hearing the voice of Moses, the dove returning back to the ark, because it's building an ark. This is one of the secrets of the Kol HaTorah. When science and oral combine. So listen. And what has happened in this class is more people get kicked out of this class than ever let in. You know? I mean, there's 2, 4, 6, there's 7 people here tonight. Okay? And 8. He's our Berudim. He's the 8th king. Okay? David over there's the 8th king.
David is the 8th king.
But what does it say? When you build an ark, you'll get 1 from here, 2 from here, 1 from here. You see, it's actually happening. We have 1 from Brazil this week. We've got a couple from the Netherlands. We've got a few from Australia. We've got a few from Canada. It's just, this is the ark. This is what it is. You don't see it until you see it. All right? And what does the Torah say that the ark would do? If the animals or the people weren't worthy, of course the people weren't worthy, but if it says if the animals weren't worthy and they had crossed the lines, the ark would kick them out. What happens? If people come in here and they start talking crazy, we kick them out. Because they can't be in the ark. The secret of the dove that entered the depths of the sea shall come true with you. And likewise you will enter the deep chasms of the Torah. This is what is written by the prophet Jonah. Jonah and the whale. You did cast me into the deep, into the heart of the sea, meaning, Jonah 2:4, meaning the sea of the Torah. Then there will be Chokmah, Hesed, and Netzach to the right. Of those, David said. Now, Jonah says, when you're thrown into the Torah, you got Chokmah, Hesed, Netzach. These are all the ones on the right. Okay? David said, because you're looking at it this way, the right hand of Hashem does valiantly. That's what he means. The right hand of Hashem is exalted. The right hand of Hashem does valiantly. This is Psalm 118, 15, 16. The three levels on the left become connected together, which are Bina, Guvurot, and Hod, to the three levels in the center, which are Keter, Tiferet, and Yesod. It attaches the right to the left, since the central column is attached to the right and left. In this way, the 10 Sefirot are perfected, including the first three. Since the prophet saw you become connected to these three levels, Keter, Tiferet, and Yesod in the center, he pronounced upon you this verse: Behold, my servant shall prosper. This is the secret of Yesod. He shall be extolled and exalted. The secret of Tiferet. And be very high. Isaiah 52:13, the secret of Keter. You will be connected and attached to the twin Messiahs. David spoke of these of the three to the right, of Chokmah, Hesed, and Netzach, of Messiah, son of David. And the right hand three times, the right hand of Hashem three times is mentioned. So what's it doing? When you get in to the Zohar and you delve into Torah and you're thrown into the sea, you will start getting you're on the side of mercy, which allows you to connect, to bring the left side in to have balance. And then it's going to be lifted up, praised, exalted. It's going from here to here. You are resurrecting the tabernacle of David. You are taking that Malchut, that ark that you built, and you are raising up. That is called establishing the kingdom and the throne of David.
That's just like the chart in Hishtal Shalut, where it comes in, the linear time comes down, and then once it comes in, it goes up.
That's right.
It's the same thing as that chart.
And so these are twin messiahs, because we know if we look at our two-tailed Leviathan here, the right side is Messiah ben David, the left side is Messiah ben Joseph. So this is the secret of Od Yosef Hai. Joseph will live, because you're bringing the left side of the curved light, you're bringing it back together, and now you're elevating it up. This is called resurrecting Leviathan. All right, and we're going to get in to resurrecting Leviathan, because resurrecting Leviathan, we're going to find in Song of Songs, is the secret of Melba. So, this Chokmah, Hesed, Netzach of Messiah is son of David. To the right, three times as we mentioned. In relation to the left ones, Bina, Guvurot, Hod. Bina, Guvurot, Hod. Therefore it says, of the son of Manasseh, Joseph, is attached. And he said of the one aspect of the left, Guvurot, I shall not die. And further it says, but live. Psalm 118:17. So David is working on this entire structure in Psalms. Pretty heavy, huh, David? All right. So, are we building an ark? Yes. Are we reestablishing the kingdom? Yes. Are we taking back the spiritual power of the throne? Yes. This is what the study of the Zohar does. Okay. Now, Song of Songs a little bit here. I want to give you an overview of what's going on. A little bit of an overview. I may need these. Okay. Verse 1. The Song of Songs, which is to Solomon. We have already made a map that the first verse is the tree. Song of Songs, which is to, we did all that. So we know that the first verse is the entire Sephardic structure. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. Huge kasha question right here. It starts out as in third person. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. Break. For your love is better than wine. Second person. It's written really odd. And then there's two kisses. With the kisses, let him kiss me with the kisses. These two kisses. What's going on? It's likened to when Solomon sees her, sees the Shechem. That's the first verse. That's the Sephardic structure. Second verse, she is speaking now to him. He sees her across the room and he's like, hey. Now she's speaking. The first thing out of her mouth is in 3D. Third dimension. That is third person. But as soon as she talks, it makes a zivug. Now it's in second person. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. Why two? There's two Metatrons. There's two Leviathans. There's two Nakashes. There's two Messiahs. That's the formula Yud He Vav He. Right and left of each one of those components. You see. Your anointing oil, so he starts pouring out. So they become in union immediately. Your anointing oils are fragrant. And your name is poured out as oil, therefore maidens love you. We already know this is the Nefesh Neva HaGerim. These are the Ger that are coming in. Draw me after you and we will run. The king has brought me in to his inner chambers. We've already, that not only did she request just the outer court, but he brings her all the way in. We will be glad and rejoice in you. Remember, this in you was the 22 letters of the Gerim, of the garment that we discussed. This is what I think it's Zephaniah was talking about as the pure language. That's the pure language that the Ger speak. We will praise and love you more than wine. Rightly they loved you. Went through all that. She says, I am black but comely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. So, in the midst of their union, she wants to talk. Well, I know you love me and everything, but I'm not very pretty. He doesn't care, because this if you don't know the dance of Hasidim and Guvarot, first verse Hasidim, next verse Guvarot, next verse Hasidim, next verse Guvarot. It's going back and forth. This is what this is. So she says, oh, and he's in love with her, and they're in union and bliss. And she says, oh, but I look so bad. I've been out in all these cities and out in Kedar and the darkness of Islam and all these different bad things. And he goes, nah, but you look like the curtains of Solomon to me, baby. You know? And she goes, oh, don't look on me because I'm dark. And he goes, and I've been scorched by the sun. But he goes, yeah, but those are but you have made straight. The ones that have made it straight have caused this. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of her vineyards, but my own vineyards I have not kept. Tell me, O my soul, where do you pasture your flock, and where do you make rest at noon? Remember the where? These were the 36 tzaddikim in the land, the 36 tzaddikim outside the land. This is the secret of the 72 tzaddikim. He's saying, look, I know that you were pushed away, but you had to go protect your children. And you protected your children, and I gave you something to protect your children with. They're called the tzaddikim, the righteous ones. That's what protected your children. That's what helped you. She says, for why should I be like one who is veiled himself by the flocks of your companions? So she's really giving to him. And he goes, listen, if you know not, O beautiful amongst women. She's sitting there going, look, my hair's not done, I don't have my makeup on and everything, I really look bad. And she's giving him all these reasons why she doesn't look pretty to him. But he says, you're the most beautiful one. Mitigates her immediately. You know? It's kind of like, can I tell a scenario? You need to pick up your clothes. You know, you take the dishes out of the dishwasher. You do this. You know, the dog's got sand. Get the dogs out of here. You know, and all you got to say is, "You sure look cute in them jeans."
No, thanks, Michael.
It's over. It's over. He mitigates it like that.
Learn from your daddy.
That's all you got to do. All right. Go forth your way by the footsteps of your flock, and pasture your kids beside the shepherd's tents. What we're going to find out is he's like, you're beautiful, you look smoking, you know, you went out in the periphery, and I gave you tzaddikim that kept you and sustained you out of my hasidim. All right? And then he goes, I compare you, O my love, to a mare of the chariots of Pharaoh. Now, most women would not take that as a really good thing. But in Texas, we turn it around and we say it like this. She's a thoroughbred. And that's a big compliment. Boy, she's a thoroughbred. Because you have to realize, in that day, how would you know which chariot was Pharaoh's?
Yeah, best horses.
The one with the most bling on it. It was pimped out, Jordan. He had a pimped out chariot. You know, the horses were taken care of better than
People.
the people.
Got that one.
All right. Now we know Solomon amassed thousands of horses. Of course, the Torah says that when you're a Torah scholar, you don't amass a bunch of horses. So why did he do it? What was he doing? Well, we taught a class on it years ago. The secret is horses. We still use the term today. It's called horsepower. You know what horsepower is? Google wrote. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was using the Google wrote, the 1,000 wives. He was making an interdimensional power machine. That's why he was able to do what he was able to do. Did it ultimately cost him? Yeah. Did he complete exactly what he needed to do? Absolutely. They always know what they were doing. So we're gonna now cut back through some of this that I went over and go through Ravali. But unless you know the dialogue, you can say this is between Adam and Eve. You can say this is between Zeranpin and Nukva. You can say it's between God and Israel. Or you can say it's between a husband and a wife. You know? It's all about the dance of Hasidim and Guvurot and how to mitigate it. Solomon was a master mitigator. He knew exactly what to do. All right? So let's go in Ravali and let's kind of break this out and let's see. We have upper kisses, lower kisses, right?
Big kiss,
Okay.
little kiss.
So, the Song of Songs. It is likened to a woman and a man, upper and lower. It's likened to the oral Torah to the written Torah. It's likened to the Malbush to the Ein Sof. Ak to Atzilut. Atzilut to Bia. Zad and Nuk. It's Hug. It's the dance of Hasidim and Guvurot. With passion. It said with passion. Prayers are not prayers unless they have fire, passion. They're just words. This is the secret of Rabbi Akiva and the 10 martyrs. It is all about storing the man. In other words, if you're praying and you're passionate about your prayer, or you're meditating and you're passionate about your meditation and connecting and making union with the Holy One, and you're creating this man, this ma'im nukvim, this feminine waters, you're literally storing a reservoir of stimulation that you can tap into anytime you need it. Because most people pray just when they need something. They have nothing to draw down. But if you're storing your stimulation and storing your man there with your passion for Hashem, then when you need something, poof,
Nice.
it can come back. Okay? This is what Rabbi Akiva and the martyrs did. They literally created enough man that the world could exist for the last 2,000 years since then. That's how much man they stored. And you can tap into that pathway. You can tap into that. Okay? And this storehouse, he says, how great is your good you have hidden away for the righteous. How great is your good. So what did God do? He did the same thing. He stored away some light. What did he store? The reservoir of holy Guvurot, which is this whole light for the world to come. This is the whole organus. The kasha. Where did God hide the light? I put this up there the other day. Well, it's not in 3D, it's in 4D. He's not hiding it. That's just where he is.
We can't
Because
be there.
from his point of view, 3D doesn't exist. So you don't put something that exists in a place where something doesn't exist. He is not hiding it. He's iterating it. He's building it. He's cooking it. The Leshem says, what is the organus? What is the light? Because God is light. In the first day of creation, the light. So, we have the creation of the two Leviathans. The Da'at. The Da'at, right here. Leviathan. The male Leviathan and the female Leviathan. So what does he do? He takes the male Leviathan, and it said he castrated the male Leviathan. And it also says he killed the female Leviathan. What is he doing? He's the male Leviathan, he's removing the Netzach and Hod, that which feeds light to Yesod. He's removing the place of stored light and keeping it. All right? What happened to Noah? What did Ham do to Noah? Why? He has to. The world could not have stood the light of Noah even. Because Noah is Yesod Adam. And the female Leviathan, he kills the female Leviathan, which is, he removes he cast her completely out of the realm of 4D, which is death. All right? Which is the secret of Feast of Leviathan. Because whenever we resurrect Leviathan, whenever the curved light of female Leviathan now becomes straight light, that's a resurrection of Leviathan. All right? So that's the Feast of Leviathan. Eating the from skin to ore, to light. The inversion process. In the future, all is one. The lower level can't take it. Can't take hers, can't take his. The reason she dies is because she can't get mitigated anymore. This is the exile. This is the separation. She can't get mitigated anymore. This is what is called her death. The castration is the organuse that is held back. Only a small field of energy keeps her alive. And this is going to lead us right into verse 7 and 8. This is the light that is the same light of the first day. It takes place on every single level and every single iteration. This is the secret of the Malbush. The organuse is only, and these strands of light that are keeping everything alive, these 72 Sadiqim and everything, this 72 Sadiqim, Ab, is only the final strand of the light filter of the Ein Sof to keep the Nukva alive. Because if he released his light, you couldn't take it. It would destroy everything. So what does he have to do? He has to send her into exile, into the Klippa, where she's beaten, bruised, killed, all the horrible things that has happened to Israel over the years, into the Klippa to build a tough crust. She's black and comely. But he knows she's beautiful. But what is he doing? He's trying to enable her to be able to contain the light. It's kind of like, get tough, honey. Time to get tough. Because what I have for you, Israel, Ger, the Naish 70, the secret 70, what I have for you, if you don't go through it, these trials and these tough times, it will shatter again. As it's always shattered. And so, the only way for you to be able to contain this light that I have in reserve, that I've tried to hold back, is to go through the Klippa and make a vessel strong enough to contain it. This is called Olam Haba. Okay? We can have access to this organuse. You can use Akiva and the mortars in your meditation. The secret is using the Ger, because the Ger is the membrane that is in between this and that, between the Hasidim and between the Guvarot. It is the Noga membrane. It's called the Derek Etz Chaim. It's the way to the tree of life. The secret of the Ger. The secret of the Ger is the way from 3D to 4D. Why did Adam look into 3D? This is the only way that the Ein Sof could be able to hide the light from the first day and be able to retain it. Had Adam not done it, the Ein Sof he couldn't have withheld it. This is the secret of like a vacuum. And I've taught this before, when a vacuum touches something, all of a sudden, you got it. It makes a suction. This is the secret of the ger, of the noga lip. Because the noga, the ger, is like a hinge that turns so we have on this side we have a true vacuum. On the side of the Ein Sof, we have a true vacuum. On this side, on the other side, we have a false vacuum, where it believes it's the true vacuum. It believes it's the true everything, but it's not. It's Bria Yitzhar Sia. It's not reality. Reality only exists on Ak's side, on his side looking down. What is in the middle? On every ark? Every ark? Even Noah's ark? The ger. Because that is the hinge of a door. It's like a hinge. It allows it to flip one way and it allows it to flip the other way. This is the secret of the ger. The noga is the hinge that turns the false vacuum back in. This is why the noga is connected to both sides. And that's why it's no thing. It's a bridge. It's the very bridge Adam used to look through. It's the ark. A-R-C. The noga is the sod to the secret 70. The ger, his ger, is what he used to make the mind bridge to the klipa from 4D to 3D. Therefore, this is the same thing he's going to use to flip it from 3D back to 4D. Why? Because it's still there from never not. We exist because it exists, not the other way around. This inversion of this flesh, of this leviathanic flesh, or this inversion of this noga flip, is the secret of this plasmatic ore. The secret of this skin, this ore, of the Ein Sof itself. This is the sod of the sacred flesh that the other side tries to do. In other words, what happened to Akiva? He was martyred and his skin was sold in the markets. But what does the other side do? They gotta have their own flesh sacrifice, human sacrifice. This is where the root of all human sacrifice comes from. It's not about the sacrificing of human people. It's about the inversion of flesh. It was about the flesh of Rabbi Akiva that they scraped off every day. It was about the flesh of Akiva that they sold in the markets. They ultimately killed him, but it's not about killing the person and saying, now I've got a sacrifice. Because a sacrifice has to be burned to be a sacrifice anyway. But this is why the Mayans and all those cultures, every culture that has ever had a human sacrifice has perished. So why did he make this three-dimensional structure? Why did he let it fall out? Why do we have Berea, Yetzirah, and Asiya? Because without it, you cannot establish 4D. It has to have its edge. The best good a person can do is to go to the other side and bring it out. That's the best good a person can do. This is why he tells her, I'm sending you out. You're going to be out there, your old daughters of Jerusalem. You're going to be out there in Kedar. You're going to be out there because you've got to go out to the other side and bring all the nitzots, all the fallen sparks back, which will create enough of an edge of the Ein Sof that it can invert and it can flip. Why? To build a vessel and to make it strong. strong enough to hold the light. Now, we've studied the word Nelva, but the nun, as we've talked about, is passive. It's a passive tense. Levia is the rest of the word. So if you had Nelva and you take the nun off and you just have the rest of the word, Nelva, lava, it's Levia, which is the root Leviathan. What happens? As soon as the ger are connected, Nelva, to Klal Israel, this is the return of Leviathan. What is Leviathan? The da'at, the consciousness. It is the fallen Malchut. The female Leviathan is the one that's dead. That's the one you have to resurrect. And he stored all the light from the male Leviathan in 4D. Because he said, if I didn't kill the Leviathan, the world couldn't stand it. You couldn't stand it. So what are we doing? We're resurrecting Leviathan. This is the ark. This is building the whole thing. This is the secret of the last meal on Shabbat after Havdalah. Maliva Malka. The word without the nun of Nelva, Levia, is in the word. And what does that bone? What bone does that feed?
The loose bone.
The loose bone. What bone are you resurrected by? The loose bone. What is the root of Levia? Leviathan. The Nakash. Because Maleva means to escort her. This is the queen's escort. This is the membrane that turns inside out. We're doing it every Havdalah. We don't know we're doing it, but now we do. You see what I'm saying? You just gotta, the more you know, the more you know. Right? Because Levi literally means attachment to. The word Levia comes from the word of a funeral procession or to escort. What? The ark. Levia also means a wreath. Because the Torah says, let the Torah be a wreath around your neck. What is that? How can the Torah be a wreath around your neck? You know, our two-tailed Ouroboros, do we have a picture of that close? We'll make one. Okay. Two-tailed Ouroboros, right? Leviathan, twin messiahs, Metatron, Sandalphon, the whole thing, Havaya. What is this? It's the mind, it's the cross-section of the brain, the mochin of who? Arik Anpin. Let the Torah be a wreath around your neck. It's talking about here. Why do you think they put the tefillin right there? What do you think that is? They're putting the wreath around their neck. It's not literally their neck. It's their head. This is Levia, from the word Nelva. So what happens when you do this? You have to make a flip, you have a hinge on a door. The door in Torah is always the entrance to Malchut, right? And Hashem shut the door of the ark with Noah, right? That's the entrance to Malchut. And they put blood on the door post of their door in Egypt. So here's what happens. Shemot 21, 5 through 6. But if the bondsman shall say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I shall not go free. Then his master shall bring him to the court, and he shall bring him to the door or to the doorpost. And his master shall bore through his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. This is one of the sections on the mezuzah, on the door, on the doorpost. What is he boring through his ear? Shema. This is a Shema. This is the thing he bores through his ear. What is the mezuzah? The mezuzah has a shin on it. The shin is Shaddai. What is Shaddai? Yesod. That's connected to here, to the Malchut. It's the lower lip. Shaddai is Ger. The mezuzah on the door is Ger. What do they do at Hanukkah? They set the mezuzah, they set the candelabra outside the door. We also learned opposite the what? The mezuzah. Why? Those are the two sides. Those are the two tails. We also learned a while back the red heifer. The red heifer is the same thing. The red heifer is Ger. Where is it? It's put outside the door, opposite the mezuzah, so to speak, outside the camp, on the outskirts of the camp. Red heifer, candelabra, Hanukkah, because there's 36 lights at Hanukkah. For the 36 tzaddikim, outside the door, outside the land, opposite the mezuzah, the ger, keeping it lit. It's a big deal, big Torah. Verse 7. I said the world would be constructed. The Psalm says that Hashem said the world would be constructed out of Hesed. What is that? This is the 36, and 36 is 72. I said it last week, I said Acha, the lamenting. It's really Aka. The Aka, she is now lamenting. They're sitting here in ultimate union and ultimate bliss, and now she's lamenting in the act of the union. In the time of the exile, she is veiled. Why the veil? This is the sod of the three that is contained with three. It's like the fetal position. Because the Chabad, which is Chokmah, Bina, Da'at, is enfolded in the Haggad. Hesed, Gurot, and Teferet. She is constricted. Why is she veiled? Because if she revealed her light, you couldn't take it. How can this be possible that she can operate in this condition to fulfill her mission? The key is, the thing that keeps her alive is the 72 Tzaddikim. Why should I be in a veil? The Tzaddikim are her companions. Let's read it. Tell me, O you, where my soul loves, where do you pasture your flock? Where? Where do you make rest at high noon? Noon is the peak of her exile. For why should I be like one who has veiled himself by the flocks of your companions? Why should I be unveiled? The tzaddikim are her companions. For the sake, the Torah says, for the sake of my brothers and my intimate friends. Because they are doing the tikkun. The evil ones are friends of man of destruction, Samael. The Shekhinah is saying to the Holy King, this verse here is not only a question, it is also an exclamation point. It's also an emphatic statement. In other words, why should I be veiled? Question mark. Why should I be? You see? She's proclaiming it as well. Because the term to be veiled means to be bent over, hidden, or wrapped up. How is this possible to do the proper work, she asked. He says, because her da'at is light. 130. What do we know about 130? 5 times 26, the 5 Guvarot times 26 is 130. How many years did Jacob live?
130.
How many years was Adam
In the river.
in the river?
They're on 30.
With Lilith, 130. Okay? So he says, her da'at is 130. The root of Guvarot. Missing the Hesed. The woman will always throw it back. In other words, where were you yesterday? And where are you going tomorrow? Because every single day, Guvarot needs Hesed. And so there will always be a crisis. Where were you to be tomorrow? And it will go as, it's not my fault. It's not her fault. Because this is what she is. Because 3D is exile. She is in exile every day. If you're married, your wife is in exile every day. Every day she is going to want you to mitigate it. Hug her. Tell her how pretty she is. Tell her she looks cute in them shorts. That is the secret of Guvarot. Constantly. This is the state of her and all creation. Because what was good yesterday will not be good the next day. You will have to redo it the next day. This is what the Ein Sof, this is his problem. He has the same problem every man in America has. Recreating creation. Every single day. But if he was to release all his Hesed, it would shatter. So this is making her the vessel. It's a lifelong work. Guvarot is an existence, but Hesed is an essence. Nothing can exist without nothing, because there is no existence in 3D. In other words, if Guvarot is an existence and it's in 3D, it can't exist in 3D because there's nothing in 3D. So it constantly needs no thing to make it be no thing. Because the only thing is 4-5D. This is the problem that Ein Sof has. This is the problem every woman and man in America has. Constantly making no thing exist. The Maharal of Prague says, this is why women cannot be witnesses in court. Their essence has no independent reality. And this is not a woman bashing class, don't get me wrong. I'm reading what sages say.
Yeah.
They
You got that
don't. They
mitigated.
don't have an objective appearance to make things. It's coagulated, which is not something, because Grooveroad is not supposed to coagulate, yet it does. Because this edge is only to go into itself. The edge is only supposed to come back in. It's not supposed to exist outside. It's only supposed to exist on the inside. This is the problem Eve's in. This is the problem Israel's in. This is the problem every woman is in. She knows when she's mitigated and she's on the inside. This is what is that which makes it different day by day. Or else it will coagulate upon itself. So, this is what she just is, this is her dialogue in verse 7 to him. Now here's his answer in verse 8. Basically he says, you sure look good in them shorts. And it stops it. That's all you need to hear. If your da'at is not complete in the dance of Hug, and that your crown of Hesed is not enough, you still have some. In other words, she's not seeing the Hesed that he gave her, which is the 72 Tzaddikim. She doesn't realize that she's got an adequate amount. I can't give you as much as you need, but I do give you the footsteps. If you know not, O most beautiful among women, go your way forth by the footsteps of the flock. This is the whole footsteps of Messiah. We're in the footsteps of Messiah. Mm-hmm. Why? Because her feet descend to death. Right? This is the whole deal here. This is the essence of the Hasidim that he gave her. What did he give her? Akev. Akev means the heel or footsteps. Who was holding the heel coming out?
No, Jacob.
He gave her Jacob. He gave her Jacob. Because the heel is the lowest part of the body, and that's what he had grabbed onto. And Esau had the birthmark of the Nakash, and he was holding it and containing it. It is Jacob that is containing the 72 tzaddikim and the power to control the Nakash. Without that hesed that he gave her, she would ultimately be destroyed. He says, you can handle it. You can access it to complete your work in the time and place. Use these Hasidim. This is what he means by go forth to the footsteps of your flock with the minimal amount of Hasidim. You can service with this amount. The root of the Hasidim is the Kabbalah, which keeps Israel alive. What is Solomon talking about? What did the Ein Sof, Adam Kadmon, Adam Harishon, all the patriarchs give her so that she could survive? Kabbalah. This is the light that she has. The splendor of the Zohar. This is the light she has that keeps her alive. You want to know why everybody's trying to kill the Jews? Because of this material right here. They don't care about the Chumash. Everybody's got the first 5 books of the Bible in their Bible. But this is the secret. This keeps the tzaddikim alive that are spread out among the nations. under the overlords of the nations in her foreign lands. These are called the tents of the shepherds. It says, and pasture your kids besides the shepherd's tents. This word kids here, gadi, means goat or kid, is the same, is gematria is 17. The same word is tov. And the light was tov. Because the Kabbalah is the light that's tov. 17 is the hesed. Pasture your kids in that goodness. And this goodness right here. If it's painful that you cannot draw down the Hasidim in exile, O most beautiful among women, he says, you are the kingdom of heaven, the Malchut of Shemayim. For the sake of heaven, he says to her, you are the kingdom, the Nukva of Zah, Shemayim. And the Kabbalah is what keeps you, this Kabbalah, this 72 tzaddikim that use Kabbalah, is the light of my Hasidim that makes you the kingdom of heaven. The most wholesome and kosher of all. The best of all Malchuts, the best of all women. Do not be pained in this matter that you are in this need. In redemption, you will have all the Hasidim you need, just like when I took you out of Egypt. And she was adorned, and they were adorned with gold and jewels and all the, and all the splendor that they took everything. In redemption, you will be the same as when I gave you all the goodness, the gold and silver, when they left, and you were very beautiful with your booty, with the bounty of your enemies. And so what does he say? I compare you, O my love, to a mare of the chariots of Pharaoh. See, that's what's going on here. Just like I took you out of Egypt, like I took you out like a mare of the chariots of Pharaoh, like a thoroughbred, Because all of the shefa of the females and the males of Egypt was taken and given to the Shekhinah, Israel. And this verse, Rob Bali says, doesn't need any proof. And the Torah is amazing and the Sage is amazing. And we'll see you next week.